Buying or selling property in the UK, whether you're a first time buyer or well seasoned property investor, there is one step that you cannot overlook. Now, why should you listen to me? My partner and I, we have successfully grown our property portfolio to over £1 million in under 2 years, and we are documenting our journey to financial freedom, surveying. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So let's dive right into it. So surveying, what is it? So surveying in the property world is the process of inspecting a building or a piece of land to assess its condition, value, and any potential risk or issues. And it's an essential step to buying any property. So in the UK, it's a crucial part of buying a property because it really is a thorough assessment of the structural integrity of the property and its market value. It really is more than just having a walk around the house. It really is a crucial part that you want to consider. It really helps avoid any nasty surprises that you want to avoid along the line, such as the issue with the structural integrity or any hidden legal problems when it comes to the land. Plus, if any issues are actually found, it can really help you negotiate a better deal with the seller. So that's something to bear in mind up front, giving you some tips early on. So you might be wondering, what type of surveys are there? So we're going to go through each one in turn. So in the UK, there are a few types, and it depends on what you need a survey for and what your goals are. In fact, most lenders would insist you get one done before they agree to give you a mortgage. So it's really good to know what each one is, and I'm going to be giving you that detail today. And so really, there are three types, and we'll go into each one in turn. So we have the RICS Home Survey Level 1. So really this is the most basic type of survey there is. And really it's just ensuring that the property is fit for purpose. Also at the same level, there's a mortgage valuation survey. This really is just the lender confirming the valuation that has been estimated or stated and really seeing if that aligns with their surveyor. Because the bank or the lender, they essentially want to ensure that the property is worth the amount that they're lending to you. And this survey, it will not pick up on any structural problem. Next up, the second one is the home buyer's report. So this is a mid-level survey for most conventional properties in reasonable condition. So a survey will assess the general condition of the property, if there's any major issues like subsidence or any faulty roofs, anything that will affect the value of the property. And so the home buyer's report is really the most popular option because home buyers really want to know if there's any real issues that they should be aware of before they decide to go all the way in with the deal. So this is the most popular option for buyers because especially if it's for your personal residence, you really want to have the option to know if there's anything that you should be aware of before you actually agree to go ahead with purchasing this property. And even if it was an investment one as well, it may be the same thing. In my experience, it has cost anywhere between 300 to 600, but that varies and that will probably change over time subject to when you're watching this video. Then we have the building survey or the level 3 one, and this is the most comprehensive of them all. This really applies if you're buying older property, an unusual one. And when I say older, it could be anything for a property that's over 50 years old, for example. I say 50 years old, but it could be a lot longer. I think it's more if the property is in poor condition or if it's an unusual design. I think this would be right for you, in my opinion. So a building survey, it covers everything from the roof to the foundation. Now, in terms of costing, it can cost anything between £600 to £1,000. Again, this may change or vary subject to where you are and the time that you're watching this video. But it's worth it if it's something that you need to consider for deep diving into the property that you're considering purchasing. So I have a few survey friends in my network who may be wondering, what do they even look for when they're surveying the property? I'm going to give you a bit of insight to that as well. So they'll be looking at signs for any damp or mold. They will inspect the foundation for any signs of subsidence. They'll also inspect the roof as well and look at the overall structural integrity. So some will even look at the electrical systems and even look at things like draining and plumbing as well. And if any major issues are found, then it will be flagged in your report that comes at the end of their service. So for example, if a property has damp problem, a surveyor will use special tools like this moisture meter to measure the humidity levels in the walls. This helps pinpoint the exact issue so you don't get stuck with costly repairs down the line. And now beyond the physical state, A property surveyor may also identify any legal or boundary issues you may face. So, surveyors can check whether the land attached to the property matches what is registered on the title deeds. Now, this is crucial because boundary issues tend to be more common than you think. The last thing you'll want to do is buy a property where your fence is actually on someone else's land, so it's not owned by you. Just avoid that at all costs. You don't want to do that. It's a whole big headache. So now that you know what the surveyor looks into, how do you pick a surveyor? The first thing I will say is make sure they are RICS registered, so RICS registered, which stands for the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. This essentially means that they are regulated and qualified to really do the job. Now, once you've identified that this person is registered, then how else do you decide? I would say get a few quotes, compare some. So don't just take the first person that you come across, because actually you may be paying a lot more than you need to. So maybe get one or two quotes and do a comparison, and maybe your deciding factor will be on some of the reviews to make sure that this person is well-rounded and they're thorough in the job that they execute. So that will be your deciding factor to choose between one or the other, aside from the cost factor. So what happens after your survey is done? So once it's completed, you'll get a detailed report subject to the level that you chose that we spoke about, level 1, 2, or 3. And if you have any issues flagged, do not panic. This can actually be used as a negotiating tool. So in the event that there are issues, you can use it to negotiate with the seller for them to either bring the cost down so that that cost is factored into you actually repairing, or ask them to repair it before you agree to buy the property. That's simple. So don't panic if there's any issues. At the end of the day, doing a survey is one of the smartest investments you can make in the property game, buying a property, because it really helps you know what you're getting into and avoid any costly surprises down the line. And it also gives you a negotiating edge, as we just spoke about earlier on. So I definitely think it's money well spent. And in the event that you are interested in property investing, there's another video that you can click in the link. Feel free to check that out, because it really goes into like the basics of you going into property investing. If that's something that you're considering doing, maybe after buying your first house, you want to consider, how can I actually become financially free through property? Check that video out. Link in the description box below. And if you found any value in this, please do the needful. Like, subscribe, and comment below. Until next time.